$1,600 in their pocket if they just stop doing this one thing.
That's correct.
What is that? 1100%
Mm-hmm.
ROI by spending 3 minutes analyzing your own trades.
Yep, definitely. I know,
Pretty good ROI if you think about it from that perspective.
you would not only save P&L, but also save more mental capital, which is also very important when it comes to trading and having, the psychological aspect in line as well.
So if a trader's watching this now, how could they apply that particular piece of information to their strategy to try to improve?
Take a look at the total gain. It's actually higher to 1,748.
Okay, welcome guys. So today we've got a really big treat for you. Traders with Edge, we exist to help traders make the move from struggling part-time to professional full-time trader. And one of the most important parts of doing that is understanding what you're actually doing, where you're making mistakes, and where you're making your profit. Because if you understand where you're making all your profit, you can focus on doing more of that. And obviously, if you understand where you're losing money, then you can try to close that gap and maybe lose less or lose less often. And so one of the biggest tools in doing that is obviously trade journaling. Some people might say, trade journaling, it's a bit boring, or it's like just for old fuddy-duddies. But really, when it comes down to the facts, when it comes down to the stats, the vast majority of all good traders, all professional traders, they all journal. They all record their trades in some fashion, whether you want to call it journaling or something else, but they all do that. And so today we've got a special treat for you. We've got Richard from Tradervue on the call, and he's going to walk us through some of the things that he finds make the biggest difference in people's trading, whether they're brand new starting off at trading or they've been trading for 7 years. He's going to talk about the things that are going to make the biggest difference to you as the trader to help you on your journey, moving to that full-time, more stable income. So welcome, Richard.
Hey, Samuel, thank you so much for having me here. It's a really big pleasure, and I'm really happy to be working with you guys. And yeah, as you mentioned before, journaling, it's something that sometimes it's overlooked by the trading community, but throughout years of experience we have seen from myself and my team, we have seen across the board from retail traders to proprietary trading firms, how important a trading journal can be for each individual trader in order to improve and actually take his trading to the next level.
And you've worked with traders from all walks of life, every corner of the globe. You're an individual trader who's just trading their own account at home. Maybe it's just a small account, up to like huge fund managers. So what is it that you think some of the patterns or the commonalities between people that you're struggling and the people that, some commonalities maybe in the ones that are more consistently profitable?
It's a great question. And yes, like in Tradervue, first of all, we have different type of users. We have individual retail traders trying to enter the trading world. It could be in different products, but we also have traders more efficiently trading proprietary trading firms or funds. And one of the commonalities that we see actually is how much importance they put into reviewing and preparing. And so this allows them to get more kind of a repetition in terms of how they trade and gain more insight into how is it that they trade. So they start noticing patterns in their trades and their trading per se and strategies sometimes. So essentially they start noticing what is it that they do good. They do more of that, and they start also noticing what is it that they do bad or the worst, and they start doing less of that. And so essentially you start seeing the trader improving when he or she puts the odds in his or her favor, if that makes any sense. And for that, it's not enough just only to trade. It's not only enough just to put the order and execute the order and just manage to trade it. It's not enough. It's more of putting a lot of effort into your reviewing, because that also gives you a lot of insight and allows you to become a better trader, but also put a lot of time into preparation as well. So that's the most of how we see each and everybody has a different way of doing that, but we see that it almost always narrows down to journaling and registering the trade and creating playbooks and creating book of trades and book of charts and see all over that. And so Tradervue gives you a tool in which you have space to do multiple ways of journaling, but also gaining insight into your statistics, knowing the health of your performance, knowing how you can improve, taking a look at reports, things that otherwise you would not be able to see from your raw data or your raw execution data, if that makes any sense.
There's a big difference between just looking at your statement that comes out on a monthly basis and looking at where you entered and exited on a trade on the chart versus actually having some deeper analytics to understand what's going on. It reminds me of this saying, it's like, you can't improve something that you can't measure. I think that was Peter Drucker or something said that, but It's really about getting more clarity of everything that's going on with you as a trader, understanding how to drive yourself better so that you can then put those actions in place. If you're driving and you're driving with blinkers on, you've only got a certain amount of vision as to how you can go forward. Whereas if you get more insights into what's actually going on, then it enables you to drive safer or better. Or if you're in a racing environment, maybe someone's racing a car, you wouldn't race a car with blinkers on. You need to have full vision of what's going on behind you and beside you. And so this is my understanding of what you guys do, is providing that full vision of how the trader's behaving, what sort of stocks, what sort of instruments they might be trading, if they're trading Forex or gold, or they might be making a truckload of money on gold and then losing it all on Euro USD. That sort of stuff you can see from a statement, but I think it's the nuance. And so maybe it'd be good if you could share your screen and we'll jump in and have a look at some of the nuances that Tradervue can provide a trader to give them more visibility about what's actually going on.
Definitely. Yeah, we can definitely do that. And before we do that, something that I wanted to mention is that kind of the end goal of the tool itself is to help to improve the trading performance of the trader. That's essentially the end goal. And that's why we have users that have been for years with us, is because if they are aware of these things that we're mentioning, if they are actually gaining insight into their trading, at the end of the day, that adds to the bottom line, if that makes any sense. That all adds up and it actually allows you to gain more profits, if that makes any sense. Essentially, that's the reason why, that's the end goal of the user basically using Tradervue. That's the reason why they stick for us for so long. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen. I have a little slideshow that I would like to mention real quick, and then we can take a look at the tool. Yeah, let's do that. Let me see screen number 2. Let me know if you see my screen now.
Yes, we can.
Awesome. I have here loaded in my screen a Tradervue slideshow. And so for you to gain a little bit more context and who am I in the first place, Richard Dalder. I'm a business development representative for Tradervue, educational content creator as well. I've been working for Tradervue for 3 years now, but I was already 2 years before that being a Tradervue user. So I know the tool, I've seen it evolve, and I've seen how important it is for different type of traders trading different instruments all across the board. And I personally swing trade US equities, mostly as of now, mostly focusing on small caps, the swing trading on the long side. That's a little bit about me. So what we're going to be seeing in terms of topics for the tool real quick. We're going to do a really quick walkthrough because Tradervue, it can do a lot of things. And so we're just going to scratch the surface and see the most important parts of Tradervue and once you import your trade. So we're going to learn how to import the trades. We're going to take a look at the trade section, report section, and journal section. That's essentially what we're going to do. And at the end, we're going to share an exclusive deal for the users. So let's move to the tool. And do you see now Tradervue?
Yeah, I can see that.
Awesome. Let me sign in. So first thing is first, you just log into your account. If not, you can always sign up here. We have 3 plans, which I'll talk in a bit later. But essentially, I already have my account created. So I'm just going to log in to Tradervue test. And so essentially here, what we're taking a look at is a brand new Tradervue account. There's no trades loaded. There's no anything. You get a notification here, import your trades, which is the first step. And we're going to do that in a moment. And here on the left side, you have the navigation bar. So let's just follow some instructions and just import our trade. And we can do that by pressing here or clicking here at top right corner. And so once we do that, we have 2 tabs basically. We have either the broker sync, which is a list of brokers. Can you see my drop down, by the way?
Yeah, I can. Yep.
Awesome. So we have a list of brokers and platforms here in which you can automatically sync basically your trades, and we're about to release a lot of them in the next few days. So this actually might increase a lot in the next few days for when this video is released. But in this case, for this example specifically, since I have a file from TradeZero, I'm just going to stick to TradeZero, and we have a lot more here in standard import. The difference is that one is automatically sync, and the other one you just need to follow a few steps here and there in order to get the file that in which your executions are.
So just to confirm on that,
yeah.
No matter what broker someone's on, what platform, they can export that from the broker and import it in here. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's essentially correct. And the reason why it's because either your broker is and platform is here in broker sync or standard import. But if it's not supported, and we do support the most popular ones, so we usually do not have any issues with that. But in case we do not support it or you don't see it on the list, you can just use the generic import format, which is a way in which you can basically import your trades regardless of the broker platform that you're using. And you can learn more information by clicking here. There's a link here that tells you more information. But for this specific example, we're going to stick to trades. And so essentially, essentially what you need to do is follow the steps and get the file. Already did that myself. Each broker and platform will have a different instructions. For the broker, I think it's automatic, so there's not much of a steps to follow. So once you do that, you can add tags like for your trading account in case you have multiple trading accounts, but you can also add tags regarding your strategy. So let's say, for example, that I'm going to import my trade zero number one account number one. I'm just going to add it. And this is not necessary, by the way. It's not mandatory. I'm just showing kind of the functionalities of these. And then add tags, I can say strategy number one. And so this is going to help me in the future filter my results if I want to. Like this allows you to have multiple strategies or multiple brokers platforms combined in one single Tradervue account, but it's not necessary for you to import. So for you to import, you have two options. You can either copy and paste the information inside of the file, or you can browse, or you can drag and drop, which is something that I'm going to do here. So I'm just going to drag and drop instead of browse. So there you can see that I have inserted my CSV file, and I'm just going to go ahead and click upload, see what happens. So as you can see now, we're taking to the trade section here. You can see highlighted in green. We're in the trade section here, and it says your import is queued for processing. So now it's basically being imported. Your import is currently being processed. So depending on the amount of information that you're uploading to the tool, it's going to take you a few seconds essentially. So you can see now that my message has changed. Your import has completed. 575 trade executions were imported. And so now you have what you have here is like a table full of columns and rows of all of your trades. This is something that you can edit here by clicking on this gear, and you can make sure that you select those columns that you believe are important for you. I've already done that, and you're seeing what I think is important for me. I have side, which is telling you long or short, the date, symbol, the P&L, the tags, which is something that we added at the beginning. You can also add after the time in which I executed this order, the volume of shares traded in and out, enter price, commission and fees, the risk or the initial risk, and the duration as well, and then some quick glance at the notes. So something that I would like to highlight from scratch is that what you see here is it's a basic filter bar. And so this allows you to filter all of your trades by multiple criteria. Let's scroll down to see real quick on how many trades we have. So here, if we scroll down, we have 183 trades. And we can see this in reports as well, but I'm just going to show it to you in the trade section. So we have 183 trades, and we have a total P&L of $146.61, and we have an average of 80 cents per trade. And you can also see the same thing for commission and fees. You have the total commission and fees, total of volume shares traded, and then an average as well for each and one. You can see, if you want, you can show more trades. You can also download as an Excel here in case you want to do more deep analysis. But essentially, I want to show how the filter bar. And so here, for example, let's say that I only want to see intraday trades. So trades that were open and closed the same day. And I want to see that only for long trades. So if you guys remember, we had 183 trades and a total of P&L of 400 and something, if I remember correctly. But let's filter that. Let's just see long trades and intraday, see what happens. So now if I click filter, you can see that this is highlighted as green. And essentially, if we scroll down now, we have 107 trades, and take a look. We actually have now a negative result.
Yeah.
So this is basically that at a quick glance, you can understand that it looks like you shouldn't be trading long intraday, if that makes any sense. We're going to see that more in detail in the report section. But let's do the opposite scenario. What about if we go multi-day? Let's see long multi-day.
So just on that, basically, essentially what that means is if this trader just stopped trading intraday long, that'd be an extra $1,300 odd in their pocket, plus commissions, really, because you got to add your commissions to it. So it's another $276. So it's at 14, about $1,600 in their pocket if they just stop doing this one thing.
That's correct. And this is something that at a quick glance from your statement, you cannot visualize this, if that makes any sense. And we're going to see it more in graphics and charts right now. But just want to do the other scenario, which is long multi-day, see what happens. So if now we have long multi-days, and now we have 70 trades, but we have a positive P&L of 1,467 and around 300 in commissions and fees. At a quick glance, we can see that this trader, for example, this trader shouldn't be doing intraday. And this is something that you conclude out of your thoughts or out of just taking a glance of your past trades and executions. You need to get the data behind it in order to understand this.
So if they took all of that time that they were spending on looking at intraday setups and spending time stressing about all these losses, I guess the intangible, in a way, impact of this as well is they're not having to go through a lot of stress and emotional turmoil of having all these losing trades just by getting clarity on it and then removing one thing. And what it also means is that they can now spend that time with a more clear head to actually focus on what is making the money, which is multi-day long positions, and do more of those, which is just in 3 minutes, whatever it's been in showing this. It's like, boom, zeroing in on what someone should be doing and what they should not be doing. And that's not the extent of the whole tool, but just as an example of how powerful this is. I want people to really understand the impact of it, not just the functionality of it, but what that difference could mean as a trader. And if you look at that as an ROI perspective, what was the initial profit and loss across all trades?
Let's actually clear the filter and see all the trades, like all results. It's 146 with 60.
So it's basically going from something like 146 to, what was it, about 1,400 and something.
That's correct.
So you're basically going 11 times more profit. So it's 1,100% ROI by spending 3 minutes of analyzing your own trades.
Yep, definitely. I know,
pretty good ROI if you think about it from that perspective.
Yeah, not only that, but in the trading space, very recently, there is a lot of talk about mental capital. Not only your P&L and your gains and your losses, but also mental capital. And in this case of this trader, this is actually the real data from a trader. And if this trader, for example, wouldn't have been paying much attention or maybe not any attention at all to intraday trading, he would not only save P&L, but also save more mental capital, which is also very important when it comes to trading and having your psychological aspect in line as well.
Yeah, it's having a more pleasurable experience of trading, but also now knowing that they don't need to be sitting at the charts all day. They can be off surfing or riding motorbikes or skiing or spending time with family, walking the dog, whatever they want. They're actually getting all of that time back. And it's the one thing that we all have in common on the planet is that we've all only got 24 hours in a day and we've all only got a finite lifespan. You're never going to get that time back. I think it's amazing value to be able to just look at something and go, if I just cut out half of that time, let's say if someone's spending 30 hours a week looking at charts, they can now spend half that time and get 15 hours back a week to go and spend doing things that they want, which is basically 2 days. It's mind-boggling when you break down time like that and you think about what else could you be using it for.
Definitely. And so something else that I wanted to show real quick is the same things, like a very similar thing to what we're talking about, but are more in a graphic way, if that makes any sense. So what I'm going to do is I just clicked here in the report section. We're going to see now a little bit more graph, more reports, more visual, if you will. The trade section is just a table and columns, and you can actually get into conclusions right away. But I want to share first of all, the overview section here. The overview section is basically gives you at a quick glance how your strategy or your performance has been behaving in the last 30 days, 60 days, you can make it, or 90 days, if that makes any sense. So for example, you can see that this trader in the 90 days is actually in a drawdown. This could be for multiple reasons, and we will try to gain a little bit more insight in a bit. You can see bar by bar, like day by day of the P&L of this trader. You can also set a daily stop loss in the settings, which is something that we usually suggest our users to do. You can also see your win percentage day by day in the last 90 trading days. You can also see the daily volume of your shares traded in and out on each and every trading day. But something that I really wanted to show is the detail. This is where we see a lot of our traders gaining a lot of insight when it comes to, I believe this is the favorite part of all the users using Tradervue, really, statistics. I believe this is where a lot of the traders go each and every day when they import their data. Because here you have a lot of information in terms of the statistics. Like you have things such as your total gain and loss, but you also have things such as your number of winning trades, number of losing trades. You can also see your total commissions, total fees. You can also see your max consecutive win, so your best streak, or your max consecutive lose, which is your worst streak in terms of losing trades. You can also see your average hold time in winning trades, which is 4 days versus 16 hours on your losing trade. You can see also the very well recognized on the trading community, the profit factor, which is very similar to the risk reward ratio, which is a lot of people talk about that. You can also see your largest gain versus your largest loss. And something, for example, that I like of this, even if the total gain loss is positive or negative, but something that I like right away in this, for example, is if you compare your largest gain versus your largest loss, you can see that your largest gain is actually about 3 times or and a little bit more of your largest loss, which means that you're actually letting your winners run, but you're also cutting your losers short, if that makes any sense. And the same thing applies to your average hold time. You take a look, average hold time for winning trades, 4 days. But if you take into account average hold time losing trades, about 16 hours, which is actually something very good. If for your strategy, it's important, this type of metrics or statistics, that makes any sense.
So if a trader's watching this now, how could they apply that particular piece of information to their strategy to try to improve?
That's a great question.
They could do with that?
On specifically the largest gain and the average hold time, you want to actually, if you see this, if you're a swing trader, for example, and you see this largest gain, largest loss, and average hold time versus on winning trades versus losing trades, you actually want to keep doing this because it's actually it's actually a good thing that you continue to do, and you want to do more of that. However, if you go through the whole statistics thing, you want to have a balance of positive expectancy, and positive expectancy is essentially the mix of profit factor compared with your winning trades and your losing trades, if that makes any sense. So you want to have a balance between your profit factor and also your number of winning trades or your winning percentage. That's essentially how the trading community talks a lot about strategies. But of course, there's more into that, such as the things that I just mentioned, such as largest gain, average hold time, that gives you a full picture of your strategy or your performance when it comes to your trading, if that makes any sense. Now, if you want to see something that it's more applicable, like right away, we can take a look here if you scroll down to the performance by day of week. So here, for example, what we have in the left side, it's the sample size. Let's call this the sample size. That's in gray. But performance by day of the week, for example. So we have multiple tabs here in which we show different reports, more detailed reports, really. And we start comparing things such as, okay, and what days I performed the best. So for example, you can see that this trade is performing good Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But what about Thursday? We actually have a good sample to prove that. So Thursday, for example, is the worst day for this trader. This could be for multiple reasons. It could be psychological things. It could be things such as life in your way. Could be that you're for some reason sleeping late on the night before, but this clearly tells you that there's something going on Thursdays. And so it's very simple to get it to, this is actually a red flag in a way. You want to pay attention to this, and you see a lot of our traders doing things such as, okay, on Thursdays I will not trade, or maybe I'll trade half of my size, or maybe I'll be more cautious, or maybe I'll be more selective when it comes to my stock selection, if that makes any sense. So this is something that is applicable right away, and at a quick glance you can take a look at, and it can save you a lot of money.
Yeah, and I guess something to keep in mind when going through all these charts and data is that sometimes it's not you as the trader, right? So you look at the Forex markets, for example. A lot of professional Forex traders and the big institutions will not trade on a Monday or a Friday. They'll only trade Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If you saw that you're losing on a Monday and a Friday, and you know the smart money's only trading Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, then it might not be you that's doing something wrong on a Monday and a Friday. It just means there's low liquidity on those days, and that's what's causing you to not assess the charts the same way as you would on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
No, go ahead.
Yes. All I was going to say is there's another example. It's like instantly you go, just stop trading Thursdays, or don't stop trading, just trade a demo account on a Thursday until you get to a point. Just set up a separate demo account, trade that every Thursday as you normally would, and try to figure out what's happening different. Is it something with you mentally? Is it like you're rushed for work and you don't have time? Is it that it's market conditions? There's a whole range of different things, but try to identify what that is on the Thursday, and don't trade live money on a Thursday. Just trade it on it until you figure out what it is that you need to change about your trading.
Yeah, definitely. That's another way. And you're making a great point, actually. And I do agree with you. Sometimes it's not exactly the trader or the strategy or the performance of the trader. Sometimes it could also be a market environment thing. This is something that we also, if you know how to use Tradervue, you can also identify when things are like, when market conditions are switching and when you have to readapt. And it gives you a very good insight when it comes to your strategy and your performance, and maybe when it's time to adapt to a different market or to a different market conditions.
So these times where it talks about performance by day, and I'm sure you're going to talk about performance by hour of day, is this the time that the trader entered the trade, or is it the time that they exited?
That's a great question. This is actually the time in which the trader executed the trade. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can see by 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 50 minutes as well, if you want to get more into detail.
Fantastic. So I guess what we're looking at there, can you talk a bit more to the time of day? But I guess that it looks like the vast majority of the profits are coming, whatever that is, 9:30
Yeah.
in the morning.
Yeah, that's exactly right. This trader is actually making most of the money and most of the trades during the first 30 minutes or first 15 minutes, if you will. So it looks like he or she should be sticking to that instead of trading, I don't know, after hours or the midday session. And I'm talking specifically about the equity market. But if you trade Forex futures, you will also get very valuable insight when it comes to performance by time of the day. So you start getting into conclusions Thursdays that you actually should be trading more in the opening or discovery session, as they call it, the first 30 minutes after a US market opens. You also start seeing performance, like even patterns of your performance throughout years. All the years combined, and January and February are actually the most profitable years. And you're not going to jump into conclusions in each and every of these reports or charts, but some of them are going to be very clear that it's actually something you can actionable piece, if you will. And take a look at here. For example, this is exactly what we were looking at before. It's intraday versus performance by duration. We are seeing that when it's an intraday trade, it usually doesn't end very well. And you actually have more sample in terms of intraday. So you have more trades in the intraday trade, and then you have less trades, but still a good sample when it comes to multi-day trade. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. And I guess the biggest thing, particularly for newer traders to realize here, is that every single trade that you make, you're paying spread, you're paying commission, and sometimes you're paying holding costs as well. So while it might be more exciting to place more trades, as soon as you place a trade, there is a cost associated with it, whether you win or lose. And so just in this particular example with this intraday trader, just removing those intraday trades not only makes you more money, but also makes you a lot more efficient and a lot smarter.
Yeah, and we can filter that like real quick here and see what would it be like if I only multi-day trade? Let's say multi-day, and let's all only share. Let's actually leave it multi-day general, the filter. So this filter bar applies, like whatever you want to filter, the statistics and the reports are going to be altered, if that makes any sense. But that's a good thing because you can see a lot of different results, play a lot of different scenarios, and you get to your own conclusions. So let's say that this trader only multi-day trade, then you will have very actually good stats. You have a 50% winning percentage. You will have a profit factor of 5.20, which is great. Average hold time continues to be 6 days, and average losing trades is 2 days now. You also have same largest gain, same largest loss. But take a look at the total gain. It's actually one higher to 1,748. Still have some commissions and fees, probably less than before, and you have a total number of trades of 71. So you can now take a look at the same graph, but on your performance by day of the week, performance by hour, it still continues to be the same. And yeah, of course, we don't have any intraday trades, so no intraday here, no performance by intraday duration. So, but it gives you a clear idea that you should be like multi-day trading or swing trading, as they call it, right away. And this is very valuable.
Yeah.
But let's clear the filter. I want to show one last thing before we move forward. There are multiple performance by like performance versus any other criteria charts. We have things such as like performance by price. You can see your performance like in different instruments, like top 20 instruments. So the top 20 best trades and your like bottom 20 worst trades. You can see the performance by instrument vol, instrument opening gap, which is something really interesting for some trading, instrument average to range. So you can start seeing and connecting a lot of dots here, honestly. I want to show this real quick. So this is a win-loss expectations tab. And so over here, you can take a look at your overall trading behavior, like all time. You can see your win versus loss ratio in a graph, win-loss P&L comparisons, or all your gains versus all your losses, which at the end gives you the total P&L gain, your trade expectation, and your cumulative P&L. So here, for example, you can see at a glance, like you can see a cumulative drawdown, and essentially this cumulative drawdown is from the all-time highs P&L to now where it is, which is this. So from here to here is basically this chart. And so this tells you clearly that you're in a drawdown, but you can also see the exponential P&L that this trader made during this few months of 2021. And yeah, and basically you can also start understanding how your drawdowns behave. And so this is a really actually real trade data. And this is a trader that did very well 2020, 2021, but started to slowly give it back. And this sometimes happens. This is part of the learning curve. But this is a realistic example, if you will. And yeah, that's what I wanted to show. Other than that, this is where I feel more of our traders get a lot of value. To be completely honest, there's a lot I have not covered, such as advanced filtering, You can also see tag breakdown, which is also basically your performance based on how you tag your trade. There is an advanced reports for you to dig even deeper to it. There's a journal section for you to journal your trades, more like a psychological aspect for you to grade the day, best moment of the day, worst moment of the day, additional notes. You can add notes here and there. You can see day by day your performance. But yeah, I'm just gonna scratch the surface because actually a full tutorial for Tradervue takes longer than this.
Where can they see those other tutorials if someone is interested in learning more about how the tool actually works? Where can they go?
That's a great question. We have a weekly webinar. We're gonna scale it up to 3, but right now it's one every week on Wednesday. That's a good way. That's a 30-minute, very specific walkthrough or a demo. But also in our YouTube channel, we have a lot of tutorials and like multiple snippets and videos for you to understand how to use the tool. If you also search in YouTube, like Tradervue tutorial, we have a lot of our partners. We have done a lot of tutorials with them. And yeah, you can take a look at one of them are like, there are a few out there that are more advanced and there are a few out there that are more like for beginner users. And there's no need to understand the advanced part right away. Like like as we did right now, you can get a lot of insight right away by just using Tradervue at its most basic level. But yeah, there's a lot of content out there. And if not, you can always, if you have a lot of questions or some questions, you can also reach out to support@tradervue.com and we can give you all the material you need. There's also something important to mention. If you subscribe for a yearly gold plan, that also includes a one-on-one walkthrough and you can come up with all the questions and have a Tradervue representative, probably myself, walking you through the product. So yeah, that's something in our most premium tier in the yearly plan, but I think worth mentioning. So if we go back here to our slideshow, we covered this already. And I just wanted to mention that we have actually an exclusive deal for another webinar attendee, sorry, for this video attendees, if you will. And what we have, it's a coupon created for Traders with Edge 40, TW40, and it's a 40% off on yearly gold plans. How do you claim this? Is basically just reaching out to support@tradervue.com. So something that I think worth mentioning is that we have 7-day free trial. We have multiple plans and you can use 7-day free trial for any of the plans that you would like. Feel free to play with the tool. Feel free to do what I just did, but with your own trades, try to jump your own conclusions, reach out to support@tradervue, see some educational content, and you can get a lot of insight that can actually take your trading to the next level. Sorry, the instructions for you to get the coupon activated, basically you subscribe to a 7-day free trial, or if you're already a user, you can also just reach out to support@tradervue.com, mention the coupon code, and that will be more than enough for us to apply it for you. So yeah, I think that's about it. Again, support@tradervue.com. We're happy to help you. Any questions and anything you want to know more about Tradervue.
Very cool. Thanks for the discount. I'm sure our community will appreciate that. And just on the community side of things as well, I noticed that you guys have a community tab in Tradervue where people can go and they can see other people's trades if they're publishing them publicly. So I guess traders can look at what other people are doing, where they're having success, and learn from other people. So it's not just about analyzing your own trades and learning from your own trading, but it's also looking at what others are doing and seeing, hey, actually that gives me a really good idea, or I can learn something from how that person's trading and maybe apply it to my. Is that something that you wanted to cover or show us there?
Yeah, the social part of Tradervue is a part that we're currently working on, to be completely honest. But yeah, we can definitely do that real quick. So if you go to community here, there's a community section here in the navigation bar. And again, this is something that we're improving. And essentially here is every time you upload your trades, you can choose to share or not. Usually by default, you're not sharing your trades, but some of the traders out there are here basically importing the trade. And basically there, for example, let's click this one randomly. So here, for example, cup Ferg magnet, first trade day short, entered after the morning spike on the green, red move, several exits into weakness in the afternoon. So this trader is showing you how he executed the trade. You can see an execution chart here, which is something that you can find on the detailed view of your trades. You can also see the orders and the time, and you can definitely gain a lot of insight from this as well. You can also add comments and you can also network with other traders by doing that. I've met a lot of traders myself by doing that. And yeah, you can also have most active users. You can see the most active users in the last 30 trading days, the last 12 months. You can also filter by like top 100 symbols. You can also do side, long, short. And yeah, there's a lot of traders doing detail reviews. Take a look at this trader, for example. I'm not sure if he trades for a prop firm or whatnot, but he's actually putting a lot of details when it comes to his decision making in each every trade. He's also tagging his trades, so then he can filter by that. But if you scroll down, you can also see that he's actually trading options. And yeah, seems to be that he has a solid way of trading, and he's basically putting the work each and every day. For this case, he traded the SPY. He made about $840, traded about 120 contract, for what I understand. Yeah, you can see a lot of methodologies. So you have all the full 19,500 pages of all time people sharing their trades, essentially. You can get a lot of insight and understand a lot of how they do this and why, and get to own and create your own, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. I think that's a very valuable piece there for people to be able to triangulate and see what other people are doing. Like I say, learning from the community, not just learning off your own trades. I think that's very valuable.
Definitely. I do agree.
All right. I think that's pretty much it. Do you want to wrap it up there?
I'm really happy, and it's really a pleasure that I'm here working with you guys. And feel free to reach out at support@tradervue.com. We'll be more than happy to help you out. And just wanted to mention that this is not because we think our product is only great, but also because we have seen, like, throughout years of experience, that this is how actually professional traders take their trading to the next level. And yeah, I think that's all that I have to say as of now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really an amazing part of it, being able to look back on your progress and see. So not only it's like looking back in the past and seeing what happened and how you can improve it, having a look at your existing trading, how are you doing, but then looking back on the longer term horizon and seeing, wow, like I started off there and I was making a lot of mistakes, and understanding how much you've grown and changed over the years is also invaluable, because it's something that we forget. If we're not journaling time, we forget that. We think today, yeah, I'm okay, I'm doing all right, but people quite often forget all the struggles or the challenges or the mistakes that they were doing. And I guess the other part is, if you see yourself starting to give money back to the market again, it's looking at, why am I doing this? And you can look back in your history and go, remember that time, like I broke up with my ex-girlfriend at that time, whatever it might be, to find some sort of correlation to help you improve. So I guess it's like a dashboard for your trading life. But thank you very much for your time today. I think this has been awesome. I've certainly learned a lot, and I hope all the viewers that are watching this have learned something as well. And thank you for the generous offer of the 40% off. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people that will be interested in that. And we'll chat soon.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's my pleasure being here, and thank you for having me here. It's a great opportunity to help other traders to take their trading to the next level. So thank you.
You're welcome.